Hey everybody, it's Kent. Tonight I have two piles of medical books I'm going to show you. So first we have the brain and its physiology. This one's been rebound at some point. The brain and its physiology, a critical disquisition on the methods of determining the relations subsisting between the structure and function of the encephalon. I think that's how you say that, by Daniel Noble, published in 1846. Don't think, oh, that one does have some illustrations. Very cool. A represents the medulla oblongata. The only reason I know that word is from the movie Waterboy. Next we have the corpus pyramidal. Not sure how to say that one, but it's pretty funny. Medulla oblongata. If you haven't seen the Waterboy movie, it's absolutely hilarious with Adam Sandler. Classic. So very cool. 1846, Brain and Its Physiology. Up next we have Bailey's Morbid Anatomy, a nice leather book. Got the previous owner's name there. Warren Parsons, MD. The Morbid Anatomy of Some of the Most Important Parts of the Human Body by Matthew Bailey. This is the third American edition, published in 1820. Let's see what kind of contents this one has. Let's see. Chapter 1. Diseased Appearances of the Pericardium. I think that's related to the heart, maybe. And then chapter 2, diseased appearances of the heart, diseased appearances of the cavity of the thorax, diseased appearances of the lungs, diseased appearances of the thyroid gland, chapter 6, the cavity of the abdomen, chapter 7, the stomach, Chapter 8, the intestines. Chapter 9, liver. Chapter 10, gallbladder. 11, spleen. 12, pancreas. 13, kidneys and the renal capsules. Chapter 14, the bladder. Chapter 15, the seminal vesicles, I guess. Chapter 16, the prostate gland. Chapter 17, urethra. Chapter 18, the testicles. Chapter 19, the female organs. Chapter 20, the ovaries. Chapter 21, the fallopian tubes. Chapter 22, the vagina. Chapter 23, the external parts. Chapter 24, the brain and its membranes. Let's see, I would assume this one probably doesn't have any illustrations. Nope. Let's see, secretions in the intestines. Secretions have occasionally been found in some parts of the cavity of the intestinal canal, especially in the great intestine, but I have not met any instances of this kind, and in very numerous examinations of dead bodies which I have made, it may therefore be considered as a rare occurrence. A great many specimens of these secretions have been collected by Professor Monroe, and a clear account of them has been given by his son. Very interesting. Love old medical books. Up next, oh, that one has a cool crest on the front cover. Nice rebound spine. Let's see, it looks like we have the book plate of Thomas Perry. Don't know if that's the same as the front cover. I don't think so. It looks like there's a book plate under this book plate, so kind of mystery. We have the hand, its mechanism and vital endowments as evincing design by Sir Charles Bell, published in 1834. Let's see what this one's about. Chapter 2, the definition of the hand. Chapter 3, the comparative anatomy of the hand. Got the muscles of the arm and hand. Substitutions of other organs for the hand. Sensibility and touch. Senses generally. The muscular sense. a hand not the source of ingenuity or contrivance. Oh, and there are a list of illustrations. So let's see what we got for illustrations in this book. Whoa, looks like we got some animals. I think this is mostly about humans, but maybe it's... Oh, no, never mind. Chapter 2 has, looks like some sort of monkey. Check out that illustration. Showing the horse and the human. If we observe the bones of the anterior extremity of the horse, we shall see that the scapula is oblique to the chest, the humerus oblique to the scapula, and the bones of the forearm are at an angle with the humerus. Where these bones connected together in a straight line end to end, a shock of alignment would be conveyed as such as though a solid column, and the bones of the foot or the joints would suffer from concussion. Where the rider is thrown forward on his hands, and more certainly when he is pitched on his shoulder, the collarbone is broken, because in man the bone forms a line of connection between the shoulder and the trunk, so as to receive the whole shock. Very interesting. Looks like a human arm there. Not sure what kind of animal that is. Some kind of cat, maybe? Or is it a bear? I think it's some sort of cat. A fish? What is a fish doing in this book? Let's see, it is affirmed by some naturalists that the rays of the dorsal and anal fins, as in the martiniscue, as employed to grapple or coil round the stems of plants and sustain the fish. Interesting. Here we have a book on midwifery or obstetrics. Compendium of midwifery, cheaply designed to facilitate the inquiries of those who may be pursuing the branch of study, illustrated by occasional cases, by William P. Dewey's, published in 1826. Cool book on pregnancy, and then probably on childbirth. Chapter 31 on the assisted delivery of the placenta. Part 4 on deliveries performed by cutting instruments applied either to the child or mother. And I think this one does have some plates relating to female anatomy and childbirth and tools, I guess. Pretty interesting to have a midwifery book from almost 200 years ago. Some of the tools they used back then. Probably halfway similar to stuff today. Sure, they've been refined a little bit over the years, but very nice. Next, we have a textbook of anatomy. Nice leather-bound one. A textbook of anatomy and guide to in dissections for the use of students of medicine and dental surgery by Washington R. Handy, with 264 illustrations, published in 1854. See what we got. Looks like something related to the nervous system there. Oh, got a chapter on the head. Bones of the cranium, Oh, we got the dental section here. Oh, the ear. Let's see if we have anything on the, oh, there we got the internal ear. Looks like we got the section on bones. Very cool old anatomy book from 1856 in really nice condition. Next we have the Principles of Medicine. Again, good condition, nicely leather bound. Principles of Medicine, an elementary view of the causes, nature, treatment, diagnosis, and prognosis of disease, with brief remarks on hygienics or the preservation of health, by Charles J.B. Williams, published in 1857. See Principles of Medicine, etiology, pathology, functional diseases. I don't think this one is illustrated. Nope, doesn't look like it. Let's see, 527. Hypertrophy of the interstitial filamentous textures of the lungs, liver, and other subservient organs occur after long continued congestion caused by diseases of the heart. When it affects the cellular texture of the lower extremities, it appears to be a chief constituent of elephantitis. Hypertrophy of the epidermis happens in callosities of the skin and in corns excited by continued irritation or pressure, which operates by causing determinations of blood to the part. Don't know how many words I just butchered in that paragraph, but interesting nonetheless. All right, few more. We have diseases, lectures on diseases of the liver. Clinical lectures on diseases of the liver, jaundice, and abdominal dropsy, by Charles Murchison, published in 1868. I think this one actually came from I bought a library of a man. He was a gastroenterologist. I think he lived up in Stratford. He had mostly Easton Press and Franklin Library books, but he also had some old medical books, and he had a pretty big collection of the Classics of Medicine library, modern reprints of old medical books. But this one, I think, came from his estate a couple of years ago. Show you a few pages out of this one. Probably won't try to butcher some more medical terms. All right, up next we have Diseases of the Heart, 1847. This is a modern library binding on it, but it is actually from 1847. Lectures on subjects connected with clinical medicine, comprising diseases of the heart, by P.M. Latham, published in 1847. Let's see what we got for contents. Lecture 1, The Natural Sounds. Lecture 2, Sounds of the Heart, different in kind from its natural and healthy sounds. Lecture 3, Endocardial Murmurs. Lecture 4, General Estimates of the Uses of Osculation applied to the heart. Lecture 5, Inflammation of the heart. endocarditis and pericarditis. Lecture 6, endocarditis continued. Lecture 7, pericarditis. Lecture 9, inflammation of the lungs. Lecture 10, treatment of acute rheumatism. Let's see, continued rheumatism. Lecture 15, the use of mercury in the treatment of rheumatic endocarditis and pericarditis. Interesting. Not sure. I would assume they wouldn't use mercury nowadays to treat it, but you never know. Lecture 22, consequences of to life and health from permanent unsoundness of the heart. Lecture 26, diseases of the heart's muscular structure. Lecture 32, treatment of atrophy of the heart. Again, I don't think there's any illustrations in this one, but still pretty cool. Let's see, lecture 28. Accidents sometimes help to illustrate the operations and effects of diseases as poisons. Illustrate the operation and effects of remedies. The following case was furnished to me by Dr. Bence Jones. A stableman, 28 years of age, was admitted into St. George's Hospital. He was suffering and had suffered for 12 months severe palpitation of the heart and was able to mark distinctly the moment of its commencement. It was one day, just after running a horse down the yard to show off his pace to a purchaser. He had never had acute rheumatism. His lips were blue, his breath short, and his left side painful. He had a dry cough, his bowels were confined, and his urine free. It was 10 weeks before his admission that his cough and whatever that word is has begun to be particularly distressing. Asculation found dullness in the pericardial region over an extent of 4 inches square. The heart's impulse increased, and the first sound prolonged with a long blowing. Interesting case of the 28-year-old stableman trying to sell a horse, and his heart was giving him issues. All right, next we have industrial medicine and surgery. This is medicine related to, I guess, blue-collar work and employees, the nurse and industry, employees' dental service, the cost of a medical department, industrial hygiene, accident prevention, medical treatment of employees, women in industry, the tuberculosis employee, first aid, emergency surgery, fractures, amputations, employees' compensation, compensable hernia, the coincidence of accidents with diseases, health insurance. I think this one is illustrated. Yikes. Looks like paraffin treatment of burns. Strapping the chest for fractured ribs. Putting a splint on a leg. Illustrating the use of respirators and proper shop clothing as protection against occupational diseases. All right, up next we got a couple dental books, and actually I have tons and tons and tons of dental books. Most of them are from like the 1920s to the 1950s, 60s-ish. Here at the store, probably have 15 or 20 old dental books. This is Root Canal Therapy by Louis I. Grossman, illustrated, published in 1950. I really like these old dental books because they just have hundreds and hundreds of illustrations of teeth and dental instruments and dental prosthetics. There's a lot of x-ray illustrations in these dental books. See if I can find you some cool dental tools. Oh, there we go. Well, let me see in the other book. This one is American Textbook of Prosthetic Dentistry, edited by L. Pierce Anthony, copyright 1946, and again, highly illustrated. Lots of illustrations of teeth and how to make the prosthetic, I guess the fake teeth. Look at her brand new smile. Ooh. Again, I have tons and tons of old dental books like this at the store. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.